Hello everyone, and welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. And we seem to be a bit off kilter, huh? And today is January the 27th, 2025. And I'm coming to you from Chatham, Ontario, in the southernmost tip of Ontario and Canada. And I'm all about crochet, as my name would suggest. I like to talk about patterns and designers and so on. But I also talk a lot about yarn. And the yarn I am most interested in, oh, we have two furry little babies here today. One zonked out sleeping there, and the other one just came in to investigate. But I know she won't let me pick her up. I lost track. The yarn I like to talk about is hand-dyed yarn. I am really focusing on Canadian hand dyers this year. Not that there aren't great hand dyers in the US, but as I have mentioned many times, the exchange with the US dollar is extremely high. And so the only yarn that I actually break down and buy from the US is the yarn from EFA. And I talk about EFA a lot. That's Expression Fiber Arts for those that are new here. And you'll see behind me a whole wall of Expression Fiber Arts yarn. I love their yarn. They have a large variety of bases, and I do buy it, although I am trying to buy much less right now because of the exchange rate. And there are lots of great dyers in Canada, and I've actually been looking overseas as well. And as I've mentioned earlier in the month, I'm trying to find yarn that is different yarn, unique yarn, that has different things in the bases, something different than your typical merino nylon blend, and that's the most common. And I certainly have lots and lots of it, but I thought I would look for yarn that had other fibers in it and talk about it when I get it. So I do have a couple. I know I have one on order. I forgot where I bought it. Oh yeah, Les Garçons. I have one on order from them, and I have one that I had from EFA that I'll be talking about in February, I think. So the other thing that is very popular here around here is the monthly mal. And it's a make along because you don't have to just crochet. Yes, I'm a crocheter and my items will all be crocheted, but I'm okay with people using any craft that involves fiber. It's a fiber arts. But before we get into that, because today is the day that's all about the mal, I do have one other thing I want to show you. I have a new little guy to add to my collection up there. And as you can see, my collection doesn't have room for any more. This is a little lamb that was in my girlfriend's collection, and of course she can't keep everything anymore, and so I decided this would be a perfect one to add to my collection, and I decided to sit it on a shelf back here where there isn't too much in that cubby. So he's going to sit there, and as that cubby empties, I guess I can add more guys to my collection. Anyhow, I guess we should come up with a name for that sheep, but I'm not very good with names. All right, today is the actual slideshow. And again, for those that are new around here or have happened on me maybe for the first time, you might want to stay and watch our slideshow. And once again, I'm going to back up because I always start with, you're going to have to forgive me today, people. This has been already a very hectic day. A lot has happened, and I've had a lot to take care of and things that have come up that I wasn't expecting. And normally I would tape a little earlier in the day, and it's getting awful close to supper time. But I wanted to get this tape so I would have time to edit it tonight or tomorrow, depending on what happens. So I'm all over the place. I'm not quite as focused as I normally am, but I'm going to try hard to do a good job of this slideshow. So I forgot what I am wearing. And you've seen this a number of times. It is a sweater that is made with latte cake. And it's kind of weird looking up here because it had too big of a neck and I just gathered it. So it looks awkward up here, and I don't care. It's my sweater and I'm wearing it around the house. Nobody's going to notice. If you're interested in the pattern, it was very well done. And it is a pattern on YouTube. And if you search crochet sweater with latte cake, this will come up because it was specifically designed with latte cake in mind. The tutorial was done with latte cake, and you know how I like latte cake, so I had to make this. And I think it was made in a color called blackberry, but I won't swear to that. But it is on YouTube, and it was easy to follow, and I could have done something about that neck. I didn't realize how big it was at the time. So let's move on to what you're here for, and you're here to see the slideshow. But before we get started, I am once again going to run over the rules and steps and everything involved with the slideshow. I know I did it at the beginning of January, but I didn't do a very good job because I had to keep coming back every week and adding something more to the information. So I'm going to try and do a good job of it this week when I'm having trouble focusing. Great time to do it. But anyway, for those that are new, the one thing my viewers seem to really enjoy is this monthly MAL. That's a make-along, which means you can use any fiber art you like. I crochet, most of you do. I have quite a few knitters that follow me, so we do get knitted items as well. But I also, as you'll see this month, I have somebody dyed some yarn. You can do weaving or felting, or needlepoint can be done with yarn. I am trying to think if there are others that I can't think of any others off the top of my head. But if you do something with yarn, then that's acceptable. At the beginning of every month, actually at the end of every month, show you a picture for the next month, for the coming month, and that is this year. It's a picture of a butterfly. From that picture, you must take your colors. Your colors for the item you are going to make must come from that picture. The item you are making, and you are making it, is made in that month. So today I will show you the item for February. You'll choose the colors from it. You'll make something during February, and then you will send me a picture of what you have made by the deadline date I give you, and I will do that later in this episode. A few days later, I come to you with a video that shows everybody's item that they made. When you send me your picture, please send it to my email address, which is judyscreations21@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to put that across the screen. When you send me that email, of course, you're sending me a picture with your name and your location. I really, you'll see today with the number of duplicate names I have, how important that is, with your location, so I don't have to email back and ask. If this is an item of your own, that's great. But if you have followed a pattern, as most of us do, we would like to know the pattern name and designer. I don't need to know the yarn and the stitches and a whole lot of other stuff. I don't have time to go into all of that. But having a pattern name is helpful because people see something they like and they would like to make it. And you'll see that happen today. Somebody made an item that they saw, was it last month or in my special items? It was just recently they saw the item, and so they made one of their own. So it helps us to know the pattern name and the designer. Or if you found it on a YouTube tutorial, that works too. When you send me the email, please know that I will respond to the email just saying thank you for your submission and signing it. If you do not get a response from me within, say, 2 or 3 days, life is hectic here, and I try to respond the day I get your email, but sometimes I'm held up a day or so. But if you don't hear within, say, 3 days, then you should contact me again, because it might be that it didn't get to me. It might be you had the wrong email address. And then you'll need to resend it. But you can check with me. I mean, if it's a case that I just missed it in all the mail coming through, at least if you say something, I'll go back and look and hopefully find it. It does not go to trash or anything like that with me. It'll come into my email. And of course, it has to be to me by the deadline date. And the deadline date is getting to be very crucial because of all the other stuff going on in my life, and I don't want to go over it all again. But those that have been around know that I have a big responsibility, and things are in flux right now. Her therapy has changed days, and that has upset my whole schedule, especially my taping schedule, because her therapy was moved from late in the week to early in the week, which upsets everything. But anyway, I'm doing my best here, and if you cooperate by getting it to me by the day and even earlier, that way I can start making my notes ahead of time. And I did make my notes even on the day that things were due, so that I would only have a little bit to do the next day, because that's taping day. So I think that must cover everything. If you have any questions at all, especially if you're new, feel free to email me at any time, and I'll try to clarify things. But the thing must be made in the month we're discussing, and the colors of your item must come from the picture that I show you. Those are the two main things. You can make any item you want, and you'll see that by the slideshow today. You'll see quite a variety, and again, we have a couple of items we've never had before, and I find that so interesting. So anyway, before we get started, I like to show you the item I made for the month. I had, oh, there it is, this much yarn left over. I guess on this mannequin, it's a little bit tall. See this scarf? And I've forgotten the name of the scarf. But what I will do is I will look it up. I can't right now because it's on that iPad. And it was a one skein scarf. And it has this nice lacy section at the bottom. And I made this way back at the beginning of the month. That's why I really can't remember what the name of it was. It was an easy enough pattern. And it was a one skein, and I had this much left over. And the yarn I used is from Expression Fiber Arts, and it is pearlescent fingering, and the color is A Murder of Crows. Pearlescent fingering is 50% merino and 50% silk, and it has 550 yards in it. And I can tell you how much I used in case you're interested in making this, because I have 15 or 16 grams left, so 15% of it. So I have probably 75 or 80 yards left over from 550 yards. So you can figure you need about 470. It's a little bigger than some single skeins, but let me tell you this, I'm pretty sure I used maybe a bigger hook than they said. I wanted to make sure that it was nice and open and lacy. And I am a very loose crocheter, which means I tend to use more than most people. Now, I will probably be wearing it in this way because that's how I like to wear them. But it is a nice one if you just want something over your shoulders. It is big enough to just, but it doesn't come a long way down. I would say you would want to make this with 2 skeins if you want something that comes farther down. But that's what I made, and this is super silky, and being pearlescent, it blocked out great. It gets quite a bit bigger when you block pearlescent. So that's the item I made. Now let's have a look at what you made. And again, I'll flash them across the screen while I read my notes about what I'm getting here. So to start us off is Deb from Arizona, who made this blue shawl scarf and with a black edge. Then we have Tammy from Ontario. I have 2 Tammys from Ontario. One lives very, very close to where I am in Chatham, and her name is T-A-M-I. The other Tammy is farther out in Ontario, I don't know exactly where, and she's T-A-M-M-Y. So when we put them on the wheel, I know the difference. Well, this is Tammy that lives close to me in a little town outside of Chatham, and it's a blue hat that she's made. She didn't tell me anything else about it. Then we have Susan, who is from New Jersey, and she has made this Kleenex box cover, and that's the first time we've had a Kleenex box cover. That's 3 new things this month. And this pattern comes from Happy Crochet Club. Next, we have Kimberly, who is from Florida, and she's done this Embers shawl, and it is by Christy Garris. I think that's Garris. And she's from the Mason Jar Yarn Designs group. Then Sherry has done this hat that's the Flash Dash hat, I'm guessing. And it comes from a book called The Art of Knitting. And she has also dyed this yarn, and it is fingering weight yarn. And those are colors that I absolutely love. Sherry is from Alabama. I didn't say that. Now we have Bonnie, and this Bonnie is from Pennsylvania, and she has done the Cozy Cabin Beanie, which is by Jonah Martinez. And then she also made a cowl with some leftover yarn that she says is just half double crochets. Then we have Melissa, who is also from Pennsylvania, and she has done these hexagons, and she is making an EFA pattern. I think the hexagons come from an EFA pattern. And she's decided she's going to make 3 per month. And at the end, seems to me there is an EFA blanket pattern, and she's using that for these hexagons. She's going to make 3 per month, so I think she's going to be making these every month. And while I'm mentioning that, I want to say I'm really excited because you're going to see later on some other special patterns. And I have 4, maybe 5 people that are going to be doing the same thing every month, following our theme, and put it together. You'll see as the others come up. But I think there's 5 different people that are doing something that is going to happen every month. Then we have HD, and she has done this granny square baby cardigan, and the pattern comes from MJ Off the Hook. And then we have Maria, who is in Massachusetts, and she's done this wrap. It's a Benita one skein shawl, and it is by the Underground Crafter. Then we have Bonnie B, who is from here in Chatham. And she has done this is one of them. She has done this butterfly shawl. And this is a pattern a lot of you will recognize that is a fiber spider pattern. And she's going to do the same pattern every month with the butterflies, but of course in the color of our month. So that'll be pretty interesting to see all of these similar shawls in different colors, maybe even different fibers as well. Then we have Diane K, who is from Wisconsin, and she has done this hat and scarf set, and this is a pattern that comes from Bag O' Day, and I'm sure we're all very familiar with Crystal. Next we have Lillian, and Lillian is from Singapore, and she has done a granny square this month. Now, I don't know if this is part of a larger thing or what. She didn't really say about that. Next, we have Lindy, and Lindy is from Indiana, and this is her first time participating in our MAL. Welcome, Lindy. And she has made this market bag of her own design. Then we have Cindy, and this Cindy is from Missouri, and she has used a Bag O' Day tutorial to make this scarf. Then Fran, who is from Ohio, has done this Anna's square, and it's a pattern from Ophelia Talks. Next, Linan, who is from Florida, has done this meadowwood shawl, and it's a pattern that you'll find on YouTube from Juan the Yarn Addict. And Linan also has said she's going to make this same pattern every single month, and she's going to be altering the colors, of course, and the fiber. She's going to do a variety of weights and so on. So that'll be interesting to see in a comparison. Then we have Lisa from Ontario, who has done this graceful infinity cowl, and the designer is Jean Steinhilber. I probably mussed that up good. And you can find it on the Crochet Crowd. Next, Vicki. I know you've told me in the past, Vicki, but I don't remember, and you didn't tell me where you're from this time. And she has done this lace stitch scarf, and this is a pattern from Carmen Heffernan. And Carmen Heffernan is somebody I have done a designer focus on in the past. So those of you that are new, you may want to go back and have a look at what I had to say about her. There are two designers I talk about a lot, or maybe three, and I've done focuses on them, and you'll see their patterns coming up regularly in these videos. Next, we have Debbie W., and she is from California. And she's done this checks and eyelet face cloth, and it's a pattern by Faith Schnitt. I hope I said that right. Moving on, we have Donna from New York, and she's done this 10-point hot pad. Now, this is a very different pattern. I've not seen anything like this before. And I think it's a pattern that you can get on YouTube from World Peas 00 Knits. I think that's what she said. I think that's the name of their group or their channel. She said she was trying to finish a sweater but just couldn't get it done, so she hurried and did this hot pad for us. Next we have Lori from PEI in Canada, and she has done this Annabelle shawl, and I think we've seen the Annabelle shawl before, and because it is a tutorial from Bag O' Day. We always see lots of tutorials from Bag O' Day. Then we have Carmen, who is from California, and she has done this divine hat. And again, that's a popular pattern, and it can be found on Ravelry. Then Ellen from Illinois has done another pattern by Carmen Heffernan, and this one is called Copper Beach. And I like her because she has a number of single skein patterns. In fact, the one that drapes the back of my chair all the time is a single skein pattern from Carmen Heffernan. Big, open, lacy shawl. Next we have Judy P. from Missouri, and she has done this ear warmer, and it's a pattern by Jada in Stitches. And here is Heather. Some of you might recognize Heather. She's from Ontario, and she's very much a sweater maker. And this sweater is called Dartmoor by Kadri. And again, I hope I have everything correct there. Next, we have Tina, who is from Australia. And she is doing squares with butterflies. The pattern is a YouTube channel from Pookie Doodle Crafts. Pookie Doodle Crafts is where you will find that pattern. And she has decided she's going to do a panel of 9 every month. And then I guess she's going to put them together in something that'll be really large. Now, maybe she'll do a blanket every so many months with, 3 months or 4 months at a time. I guess 4 months at a time with her panels of 9. Next, we have Tammy, and this one is Tammy in Ontario. And she has made this hexagon sweater, child size hexagon sweater, and she's also sent me a couple of hats. No information of where she got the patterns. Then we have Rebecca from Mississippi, and she has crocheted. It's a crochet cardigan poncho. It's a pattern by Unique Designs, which can be found on YouTube, and it is very unique in the construction. I guess you make a granny square and you put it together in such a way. I guess it could be a cardigan or a poncho. Then we have Cindy from Costa Rica. And Cindy has done this butterfly, I think it says butterfly dance in my handwriting. It's a pattern by Bebe, it's Bebe. You can see it on her picture, Bebe Blankets. And once again, by the way, this is mosaic that she has done. And once again, she's going to make this square. I hope you can see the butterflies in the corner. She's going to make this square every month in a different color. Color of the month, obviously. And then it goes together in a fairly large blanket, because she said this square turned out much larger than she anticipated, but I don't get the size of it. She might have told me, but I don't remember. Then we have Janet, again, another one from Singapore, and she has made this, I guess you call it a scarf or a shawl, from C.J. Brady, another designer I've done a focus on. And this one is called Among the Wildflowers. I'm almost sure I've done that one myself. And again, C.J. Brady is known for her single skein patterns. A lot of them are that boomerang shaped scarf. And I'll be mentioning her a little later. Oh, I did it again. Oh, well, don't worry about it. Then we have from Jackie this matching hat and mitten set. And this is from Daisy Farm Crafts and Little John's Yarn on YouTube. And I'm guessing the two work together on YouTube. Then we have Kathy from California, and she has made this baby blanket. And Barbara, who is from Alberta, has made this Riviera tee by Grace for the Frills. And she also knit this small scarf. Next, we have Renee. I believe hers is knitted as well. This baby sweater and matching hat. And if you've been following, she does these monthly for a donation group. So she's always making these baby sweaters and hats. Then we have Angela from Georgia. And again, this is a person who's participating for the first time. And this is her first shawl she's ever made, and it's a bag a day pattern. And that's a good place to start. Crystal has great tutorials. We now have Kayla from Iowa, and she has done this Dorchester scarf by Stitchberry. Then Lillian from Ontario has made this scarf. It's called the Skinny Keyhole Scarf. She got it from the magazine Crochet last October, if I recall correctly. And the pattern is by Kirby Ellison. Next, Josephine from North Carolina has sent this Kokomo, I almost said it wrong, Kokomo scarf. And she says it's a free pattern from Ross at Smells Like Yarn. That's a YouTube channel. And she's also sent along this chevron top that is from Siren's Crochet. Again, she's a YouTube person, Siren's Crochet. Then we have another Kathy. This Kathy is from Ontario. And she has made this drawstring makeup bag. And again, it's the first time we've ever had one of those. And the pattern is by Esther Thompson from Cute as a Button Crochet. Then we have backwards. I almost missed a whole page here. Next, we have Michelle from Utah, and she's done these shorty socks. She's knit them, and it's a vanilla sock with a fish lips kiss heel. Now, those knitters out there will understand. There are a variety of different heels you can do. Then Marie from Virginia has made another Boggy Creek blanket. And this pattern, she says she likes so much that we just might see it again. She'll be making it again. Next, we have Barbara from Missouri. And here again is something we've not seen before. It's a can holder mitten. I guess that's pretty great when you're sitting in the cold at maybe some sporting event, want a cold drink. And I think the designer is Irini, E-R-I-N-I-S, Irini's Corner on YouTube. And then we have Maria from Massachusetts, and she has done an infinity scarf using 2 strands. So you see the marled effect. And then Nina, these two are sisters. Nina from Massachusetts had a Red Heart book. I think the book is called Crochet Scarves, Shawls, Ponchos in a Weekend. And from it, she picked this jazzy striping scarf. Then we have Lori, and again, Lori didn't tell me where she was from, but this is her first time submitting to us. And she did a cowl. It's called a Braids Crochet Scarf Cowl by Karen Valadares. And she says she hopes the blue isn't too dark. Well, it's looking black to me, but apparently it's a dark blue. Blue is the predominant color of the items people sent in this month. Then we have Lisa from Tennessee, and also this is her first time participating. And she's done this granny stripe lap blanket. And then Judith, who is from California, has made this bucket hat, and it's from a YouTube tutorial on Unique Stitch Designs channel. I'm thinking that's a channel name. Unique Stitch Designs is where you'll see that pattern. Then Raylene from South Australia has done this Just Breathe, again a pattern by CJ Brady. You know how I like her patterns as well. She says it's not blocked, so the points aren't behaving at the moment. And then we have Lori from Michigan. I think it's the first time we've had someone from Michigan, and this is her first time participating as well. And she's done the Autumn Blaze Shawl by Carmen Heffernan. So those are the two, CJ Brady and Carmen Heffernan, that you hear a lot of from me. And quite a few of my followers seem to like their designs as well. Next we have Melissa from Texas. And she has made, first of all, this beanie from a pattern from Bag O' Day. And then she has submitted 2 more hats that go in her donation box. I have a little furry friend that I think wants that. Next, we have Edie from New York, and she has done this beanie, a pattern from Jada in Stitches. And while I'm here, Edie, you need to know that I respond to you every month, and it comes back, it says your email inbox is full and you can't receive emails. But I have let you know I receive your pattern, so you might want to look at your email inbox and clear it out a little. And next we have Denise from Minnesota, and she has done this hat, which she says is no particular pattern. It's just something she's made up herself, I'm guessing. And finally, we have an item from Debbie P. in Arizona, and she has done this pattern Close to You by, and I'm going to have trouble again, Justina Lorkowska, I believe, is the designer. And Debbie said she saw this pattern in one of my videos. I'm thinking it was in the special items just earlier this month, but she saw the pattern on my channel, and of course I tell the name, and she liked it so much she got busy and made one as well. So that brings us to the end of our slideshow. And if any of you were keeping track, this was a pretty special month. First of all, we had 5 new people. We had items we'd never seen before. We had several people that are jumping on this. They're going to do the same thing every month, whether it be squares they put together every month, whether it be butterflies in the pattern, but they're going to do it every single month this year in the varying colors. And did you count? Do you know how many people we had today? Yes, pretty exciting. We had 53 people participate. 53. That just excites me no end. I got a problem here. What happened here? I don't know. Things happen that shouldn't happen. Okay, there we are. Okay, so we had 53 people, and I just realized, because I almost missed this page, I did miss this page in putting the names on the wheel. So I'm going to take a break right here. I actually remembered to bring the wheel with me this week, but I need to put on the names. I thought that it seemed strange, so I need to put this one page of names in the wheel, and I'll be right back to you. Here I am back again, and I just want to again thank everybody for their entries. It looks like maybe we're going to regularly get 50 people, which is a step up from what we were getting regularly last year. So I'm quite excited about it. And now what comes next, everybody's waiting for, is how about spinning that wheel? For those that are new, we know we have 5 of them that are new. I spin the wheel, and then I have a free gift of yarn. And I decided that since it's cold, even down in the south, you guys are getting cold weather. And when they get snow in Florida, you know we're in trouble. So I have this cake. It is a Milan cake I got, but there's nothing wrong with it. And it is an alpaca gradient. So it has 80% acrylic and 20% alpaca in it. Great beautiful colors, making up something maybe for a baby. And it has, it says it has 924 yards in the ball. So this is going to go to some lucky person, and I'll just put it back in the bag to protect it. Has the information on the bag, and let's just put it down there. And now I'm going to get the wheel up here. Get that out of the, I'd like to get that done. Okay, let's get this wheel. I know you can't read the names very well, but rest assured, all of you are on this wheel. It tells me there are 52, and I know I told you there are 53 entrants, but I have one person that tells me to leave her off the wheel. So here it is. You can't read them all, but I'm going to spin, and we're going to wait to hear who wins. There it goes. Raylene. Raylene is in Australia, and I'm pretty sure, Raylene, I would not have your mailing information. It's summer where you are right now, but eventually you'll get winter. And so, Raylene, you need to contact me on, send me an email and give me your mailing address. And as soon as I get it, I'll pop that in the mail to you and send it off. And hopefully you enjoy making something with it. Raylene, congratulations. Okay, I thought of something else while I was talking. Oh, yes. The other thing I wanted to mention is I know a lot of you post your pictures in other social medias, particularly Instagram. And if you're posting on Instagram, would you please use the hashtag Judy's Mal 2025. Judy's Mal 2025. I appreciate that. Then they'll all be there together and people can get a chance to look at what people have made. All right. Now, this comes the point where I show my yarn. Oh, I can't show you the yarn until I show you the picture. And I know you're all waiting every month on the edge of your seat, wanting to see the butterfly for next month. Now think about it. What color do you think is going to be in this butterfly? It shouldn't be a surprise. So here we go. I'll put it there long enough so that you're able to get a screenshot. All right, I'm sure that was long enough to do something. And it shouldn't be a surprise that I picked something with red in it for February with Valentine's coming. So that's the item for, or the butterfly for the month. And I actually had two different choices, but I had these two yarns. They are both pearlescent fingering from EFA, much like last month's, and it is a slippery yarn to work with. But I thought, oh, this is so perfect. Now, I do have another one I considered. I'll show it to you, but I don't have plans for it right now. Isn't that a great choice as well? And if I have time to make a second item in February and I find the right pattern for it, I will make this up also this month. But I have actually found a pattern I really like, and this is going to be stunning in it, that I'm planning to start hopefully on the weekend, because I'm working on something right now. I'm going to talk about finished objects in just a minute, but I'm working on something right now that is a one skein project, and I'm sure I will have it done by the weekend. And then I'm going to get going on this. And if I get done it in time, plus the other item that I want to make in February, if I still have time, I'll do that other. So I hardly need to put the picture up there and put it there. I think red, white, and black are pretty obvious and not too hard. The red, I guess, is a hard color to match, and you aren't all going to have exactly that red or exactly this red. But red, white, and black are basically what you're working with this next month. And while we're at it, I have to give you a date. And I'm going to apologize before I ever say anything more. February is a short month. Not much I can do about it. And again this month, the last day of the month is on Friday. And you know I always do my video on Thursdays. And I had people tell me last month not to worry about it. They enjoy putting their feet up with their cup of tea or coffee and watching me for however long, and they pull out their crochet or knitting or whatever they do, and they crochet along and watch my video. And if it's a longer video, that's all right. And it is a longer video when I have to combine the slideshow for the month, which is getting longer because we have more people. Isn't that wonderful? More people makes me happy. Although it doesn't matter how many there are, I'm happy no matter what. So because I normally do Thursday and the 28th is a Friday, I'm going to do the same thing in February that I did this month. I'm going to combine the two into one because I do not have the time in my week to make two major videos one day after the other. So that means they came in on the Monday this month, and I was really pressed, and I didn't even have the therapy that's going to be on Monday. So I'm going to ask that you have your items to me on the Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night, and that is February the 23rd. February the 23rd, 2025 is your deadline for getting your pictures to me. Remember, the picture has to have your name, your location. Did you see, like, I had 2 Lisas, 2 Melissas, 2 Kathys, I have 3 Lisas maybe, couple of Loris, several Tammys. If I don't have something to distinguish them, I can't hardly know who the winner is going to be. Raylene, we only have one and it came up, but it could be any one of my doubles, 2 Donnas, 3 Debbies, you know, it gets very confusing. So where you are is really important. The name of the pattern, if you follow the pattern, and the designer by nighttime, midnight, Sunday night, February the 23rd. That's the deadline. And if you've been watching lately, you know that I will today also make a posting on Instagram with the butterfly and my yarn choice and the information about when your pictures are due. Okay, that's everything about our slideshow. So, do we have more to cover? Yes, we do. I have to say something that I have neglected to talk about for the last 2 weeks. And that is, I did mention this before, that I am doing a collaboration with Diane from My Pink Bathtub. And I know some of you watch her. We are going to do a mal, just like the mal I did last year with Gina. But as you know, Gina has been having problems with her eyes and really isn't up to doing videos and spending any length of time on devices at all. So Diane offered to do it with me this year. So we're going to do a mal, and that means there will be a pattern picked that has both a crochet and a knit version of it, so that all the knitters and all the crocheters from my channel, Diane's channel, and hopefully other people will hear about it, can make the same item. And we are going to do a kickoff of that mal on Saturday, December is long gone, Judy. Saturday, February the 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. We're going to do a live on my channel, so it's going to be very bare bones, but at least I know how to be live. And I believe I set it for 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so that the West Coast and all into Europe are able to make it. And I hope you'll all join us. And if you go to my what do they call it? My page, my channel page, my home page, I'm pretty sure you'll see it there, and you can click it on that you're interested in, and then it will notify you. Some of you probably already got a notification way back in December when I was playing around with seeing if I knew how it worked, and I sent it out without planning to, and maybe you've already clicked that you're interested, but you'll get a notification if you click that for sure. So I wanted to make sure I said something about that, because I should have said something the last couple weeks, and that's only 3 weeks away. Saturday, February the 15th at 1 o'clock. Right, so that should be interesting. Now, I have some FOs to show you. First of all, I have this. You'll remember I was working on it last week, and I showed you, and I'll put the picture up here, the center diamond, because this is called the Prism Path shawl. And you make that center diamond, and then off of each side, this side, you work a wing, and off of this side of the diamond, you can tell where it ends because there's extra of the base color, you make another wing. Same colors repeated. There are 12 minis, and as you know, I used Polka Dot Creek minis, and they are tweed. That's why I had to get more to make sure I had 12 of them. So here is the entire shawl. It has not been blocked. And I'm going to say what I said last week once again. It is not a pattern I would recommend. This is a pattern I chose to be on my Make 9. I'll very quickly flash up my Make 9, and I hope it's on. No, this picture's not on there because I switched it after I got started. But so I did one off of my Make 9 board, but it's a pattern that leaves a lot to your imagination. You have to make assumptions because the instructions are not complete. It is not a pattern I would recommend unless you have a lot of experience and understand the construction of shawls. So even this part, it seemed more straightforward, but there were things that were obviously not right. And this was supposed to, by the way, I only got to the 11th color, not the 12th, on both sides. It should have done another section of this white or cream, and then done a strip of this color right here, and then a little bit of the cream again to finish it off. And I mean, I decreased one each row like they said. I know it needs blocking so the side will look straight, but I hate to say negative things about people and patterns, but I also feel I owe you that I be honest about it and not recommend a pattern to you that you're going to have difficulties with. And I had difficulties with it right from the very beginning. It was a very interesting construction, nothing wrong with it, but the person did not put complete explanations and instructions for all that was going on. And that was my big complaint with it. So there it is, done. So I finished that this week, but I needed a break while I was making it. I just needed a break. And by the way, I had little balls left of every single one of these minis. They all ranged from 6 to 8 grams, I think, except of course the last one, which has quite a bit left because I didn't use it at all here. And I had 2 skeins of this. And once again, for those that weren't here before, this is an EFA yarn called Cosmic Confetti Fingering. It's 92% merino wool and 8% polyester, and it has 437 yards, 400 meters. That's typical. And as you can see, it's a tweed too, as far as I'm concerned. But if you look closely, you see the sparkle. And this sparkle is unique because that sparkle filament, which is probably stellina, although it doesn't say, has 3 colors in it: gold, red, and blue. And it's more noticeable in the other colors. And I have shown the other colors, and I will be making something with them, and you'll get another chance to look at them up a little closer and see the sparkle. But I think the sparkle is coming through. I can see sparkle around there. Yeah. So this is the second cake, and I have most of it left over. 86 grams. So 14 grams times 456. So I used about 65 yards out of this. So I still have a decent enough. I might use it with maybe I'll use it with one of my other Cosmic Fingering as a secondary color, because for those that didn't see them, these are some of the other colors, and I could very easily put these in with them. Okay, so that's one finished object. But as I said, I kind of got tired in the middle and wanted a break. And I was talking to you last week about wanting to make a lot of smaller items that I could wear around my neck. You know, a C.J. Brady type thing, a Carmen Heffernan type thing. And I did look, and I found quite a few what would be called skinny scarves. And this is called something skinny scarf. I don't remember the name of it, but I will look it up and put it on the screen below. And as you know, you can always check my project page in Ravelry. But here it is. I used all of it. I probably had a little strip that couldn't do anything left over. Once again, this is pearlescent, but pearlescent worsted. You see the colors. I felt like doing something totally different than the colors I usually use. And this is over 80 inches, about 82 inches maybe, so very close to 7 feet long, which is well over 200 centimeters. And I wanted it long so that I could do this kind of thing. And because it's pearlescent worsted, it is 50% merino and 50% silk, mulberry silk. So it has a very silky feeling. This has been blocked, and I'm quite happy with how this turned out. And it was the most basic pattern ever. I wish I hadn't bought it, but I mean, basically double crochets, and then rows of what we call open spaces. So, I mean, 3 of those, 4 of those, and back and forth and back and forth. I didn't realize that. I thought it had more different, several different patterns throughout it. It looked in the picture like there was more, but there's only 2, the 2 very basic. But it worked up very quickly. I made it in one evening, started in afternoon and finished it that night. So there is another finished object. And like I said, it was made with pearlescent worsted, and the color is Unlock Your Truth. Again, it came out of my stash. I've had it a while. Whether they still have it or not, I don't know. I finished this a couple of days ago. I finished it before the weekend. And I went back and I finished this on the weekend. And I have since gotten started on another one skein project by CJ Brady, which I'm sure I'll have done by the weekend. And then I'm going to get started on my February mal item. And when it is finished, I will be switching over to making the item for the collaboration I'm doing with Diane. And I want to work on that. It's throughout February and March. We'll be working on that. So I'll have to work on that before I pick up some other item like that other skein of red and black. Now, I know this has gone a little bit long, but I haven't done a whole lot in acquisitions, and I did get one acquisition I would like to show you this week so that I can then put it away, because otherwise, oh, I'm sorry. Were you there where my chair was rolling? I happened to see Crystal at Bag a Day opening some yarn, and she's opened yarn from a couple of different Etsy people that make the gradient cakes, and I've tried to order some of them in the past because they were beautiful, but one of the people she orders from is in the US, who does not ship to Canada. But then she had this other person she ordered from, and they were in Germany, and they're simply called Pick the Yarn. Now, I thought they were on Etsy, but they aren't. I think everything on here says picktheyarn.com. Picktheyarn.com. And they are in Germany. And I got 4 cakes. I picked what cakes they had made up. And I think partly what influenced me was all the sparkle. So it says in one place that this is 50% polyacrylic and 50% cotton. But handwritten, it says there's cotton and there's acrylic and there's polyester and there's polyamide. I don't know the difference between all of those. But here is the first one I got. These have no color names on them. They come with a center pole, although I won't be doing all of them from the center, with a tag and a charm. And this is all one color, a very dark blue, and you can certainly see the sparkles in that. Okay. And the next one I got, and it came with a number of sticky labels as well. The next one I got, and it's the same thing. Oh, by the way, it has 800 meters in it. So that's a nice size shawl. Or it could be a poncho. I think these are all 4 of them are going to be shawls. The next one I got has the same information on it. And this one is blues. But there are some parts that don't have, the sparkles all through it. But some parts have the blended, that's with gray, and there's black in the center. And it's very dark, a very dark blue and black at the center, and then blue out here. This one for sure, I'm going to start at the outside. Remember I told you it's better for the yarn if you're working from the outside, and I'll put it on my wool genie and work with that. Okay, enough blue. Next one. Here's one with no sparkles. And again, I'll start from the outside, but it has dark black in the center, and then it's mixed until it goes pink. Now, I would like to see pink at the top of the shawl and work to the black at the bottom. I don't know why it took my fancy when I was looking, but I don't know, for some reason I wanted it. And here's my favorite one. Look at this. Now this one, I'm probably going to start from the center. I'm not a big green person, so I think I'd rather the green be at the outside edge. So I'm going to start in the center, which is a very dark purple, and it looks black because you're in a shadow, but it's a dark purple, gets a lighter purple, almost has black, and then it goes out to this green. And I'd like the purple at the top. So this one I'll work from the center out, but the others I'm going to work them all from the outside in. Isn't that beautiful? I unfortunately could not resist this one, so I had to get, and this may be the first one I make, and I might make it this spring. I have so many things I want to do and I want to get at that I've been following. I really want to keep busy on my Make 9, and of course I have my monthly items to make. So not enough hours in the week. So, all right, that's all I'm going to do today. We've spent quite enough time, I think. I want to remind you of the live show, February 15th. Next week, we're into February already, folks. Imagine that. And I'm going to do my beginning of the month stash down. So I'm going to talk about January and the items in my stash down. And I have started, I think, 7 items this month. And one of them is the blanket that will be ongoing for the whole year. So we're not going to worry about that. And the other is the item I'm going to be making in our February, March mal. So I started it because I wanted to see how the pattern was. So that isn't going to be finished this month. But does that mean that I've finished 5 things? Well, I've got 3 things right here that I've finished for that month. So there must be 2 more somewhere else that I can't think of. So we'll do stash down next week, and I'm going to do some fiber information. I've been promising to talk more about the fiber that's in this, so I did research on it, and I will talk about it next week. And if all works out, I have another shipment coming of some yarn that I want to talk to you about that's different as well. So that's what we have in mind for next week. The following week will be practically Valentine's Day. So, and I have a Valentine's gift to open. So that'll be kind of fun too. So that brings us to the end of what we're going to cover today. And I hope to see you all back here next week. And I should say, remember the thumbs up. And if you're new, please subscribe. It really does help the channel. In the meantime, until I see you again, happy hooking.